me back to Nana's table, where we laughed and talked all day. So long ago, love was offered. The joy of being together made you want to stay. Take me back to Nana's table.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana, and I'm so glad you're here today. Today, we're in the kitchen, and we have several projects that I want to get done. May is my daddy's birthday month, so I thought I would make a red velvet cake, which is one of his favorites. My dad was a great cook. He was a great baker, and after my mother had passed away, one of the things he really did enjoy doing was baking cakes from scratch. And he would go see his sisters and take cake down there. And a lot of times he would call me up and he would say, "Hey, sister, come over." And that's what they all called me in my family, a sister. But he would call and say, "Hey, come over. I made a red velvet cake and got some coffee made." And so I would head on over there and have a piece with him and drink a cup of coffee, and great memories from all that. So the first thing, though, that I want to get done is I have a pack of bacon here, and I want to get some of it pre-cooked so I can put it in the freezer, as I really like having bacon just already cooked. And I have my oven preheated for 375, and we're just going to put this bacon on this. I have this little rack, and I have a cookie sheet under it. And it's going to cook about 20 to 25 minutes. And we may have to turn it once. We'll see. All right. And try to get it so that it doesn't drip in my oven and cause the smoke alarm to go off. As you guys know, Nana can't hear it, but it'll drive you guys crazy. I don't want to do that. And now we're going to get started on our red velvet cake. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put all of our dry ingredients into our mixer, and then we'll add our wet ingredients. This is half all-purpose flour and half cake flour. The recipe does call for all-purpose flour. I had some cake flour that I needed to get out of my cupboard, so I decided to go ahead and use that today. We'll have our sugar. This is baking soda. It's about a teaspoon. And then we have fine salt. And I'm using just iodized salt because that's the only fine salt I had in the house. And a teaspoon of cocoa powder. And I'm just getting all the dry ingredients mixed together. All right, so we're going to turn this on just a medium-low speed. And we're going to start incorporating, this is 1.5 cups of oil. Okay, 2 large eggs. All right, and I have 1 cup of buttermilk. All right, then it calls for 2 tablespoons of red food coloring. The next thing it said was a teaspoon of vanilla flavoring, and Nana, we measure with our heart when it comes to vanilla. It's probably a little more than a teaspoon. And that's about a teaspoon of vinegar. It makes a beautiful batter. Let's get this stirred around. As always, I start off with a clean kitchen. My sink is clean. That way I can lay things over there. And it's good and clean, and I don't have to worry about putting this over there and then moving it back to where I'm cooking. So let me show you these pans. I have greased these pans, and I put parchment paper in the bottom so that this cake should come out really, really easy. All right. When these go in the oven, I'll show you how beautiful that looks. Look how pretty. When these go in the oven, I'll bring you back. Go. I've got another pan of bacon ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fix this meatloaf. Now I have 3 pounds of ground beef. And then we have some granulated garlic. And I really don't have a recipe for this. I just put in till I think it looks right. So I'm going to say that that's about 2 tablespoons. And then this powdered onion powder. Can't talk today, y'all. And we're going to put a little pepper in here. And we're going to start mixing this together. And I'm probably going to put a little bit of breadcrumbs in here. We'll just see how this is going to hold together. I want to make sure that everything gets seasoned well. Wash my hands. Add our 2 eggs. I'm going to add them to the side so I can get this other mixed up. I'm going to put a little bit of breadcrumbs in this. Not a whole lot. Keep mixing these together. We've had several storms blow through the last few nights, and Papa is out there replanting the okra once again. We just keep having to replant because every time we plant it, another big rain comes. Is I'm going to put this on my aluminum foil here, and I'm going to put down some strips of bacon. And we're going to form this loaf over the top of this bacon, and then hopefully we'll have enough to go across the top of it. That's beautiful. And when we get ready to cook this, we will put it in an iron skillet. But for right now, I'm just going to fold this up gently. Until I get everything out of the oven over there. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator so that it'll stay nice and cool. And when we bring it back out, we will put it in probably Mama's Big Bertha skillet, and we'll do that. We got about 36 minutes left on our rolls, so we'll have those to do. And it looks like the cake is going to take another at least 5 or 10 minutes. And so I'm going to add some time to that. Okay, so now we're going to cut up this squash. And my bread is almost, my rolls are almost ready to, about 15 more minutes, and I'll have to get those rolled out and put in this this pan, and then let them rise. I can't wait for our homegrown squash to come in. This came from a local farm that they have greenhouses, so they get a little bit of a head start. That's a dream of mine, is to have a greenhouse so we can get a little bit of a head start. I want to try to keep them all about the same size. I also went ahead and peeled the potatoes and have them on cooking. And I took the cake out of the oven and I put it in the freezer so that it would cool off, and we can frost it here in a little bit. This was one of my dad's favorite things, like anything that came out of the garden. He always grew a big, big garden. And he used to work at a paper mill. And he would plant, in the fall, he would plant collards and turnip greens for the ladies who worked with him, so they could come over and just pick, whatever they wanted. None of us really cared for collards that much, and I haven't tried them. I do like turnip greens. Let me get these out of this bowl. And I made some green beans the other day. I had bought some at the farmer's market, and I cooked them the way my mom cooked them, and oh, they were so good, y'all. So I think there's a little bit of those left. That'll be good with this meal. Anything that reminds me of Mom and Daddy, I love. Now, we got a big onion here. Whew, that's a strong one. Goodness gracious. And we're going to put a little cornmeal and a little bit of flour on these, salt and pepper, and we're going to fry those up here in a few minutes. And we're waiting on the cake to get cooled off so that I can get the frosting made and get that put together. Okay, so I have the cake cooled off. So we're going to make our cream cheese frosting and get that done. And I also have the meatloaf wrapped in bacon in my mama's big old pan, and we're going to put that in the oven and let it begin cooking. We finished our bacon, and right now I'm boiling potatoes to have some mashed potatoes with this meal. And yeah, so I think it's going to be really good. I also went ahead and did the rolls because you guys have seen me do that several times. I just took them out of the bread machine, formed them into rolls, got them sitting right back there, and to rise. So they need to rise for about 30 minutes before we can cook them. So we're going to put this in the oven at 375, and we're going to let it get going. Bring these back over here because I need to stir these around on them and put some flour and meal on them. Now, some people just put flour. Some people just put meal. My mom always did a little bit of both. And so that's what I'm going to do today. That's how my dad would have done it. So we're going to give them a good salt. Probably about a tablespoon. All right, so we're going to put just a little bit of cornmeal on here. And then I put my flour's over here, so we'll get that. So a little less than 2/3 of a cup. This is self-rising, but it really doesn't make that much difference. So I'm going to put about a little less than 2/3 of a cup as well. All right, and we're just going to stir these around so that it can kind of get coated on here. And then we're going to get going on the frosting. So didn't these cakes turn out pretty? I think they turned out really well. They look dark around the edges, but they're really not that dark. They just they got brown. So. Okay, so the first thing we need is, the recipe calls for 1 pound of cream cheese, and that's 2 blocks. So we're going to put that in here. This is a rich icing. butter and the cream cheese mixed together really well. All right, we're going to go ahead and do 2 sticks of butter. We're going to turn this on. I'm going to go ahead and put my vanilla. It calls for a teaspoon. All right. So I have here powdered sugar. Some people call it icing sugar. We use our 1/2 cup one. Okay, so it's going to take 8 1/2 cups, okay? We're going to go real slow. Scrape this down really well. That's better. That's good. I am going to put just a little tad more salt though. Not much, just a pinch. Right. And take this off. I'm putting these down so that when I get finished icing this, I'll have a pretty edge. Try to even this out just a little. I don't want to take too much. Now give me just a little bit to... I have to build up the icing just a little. I am no professional, as you can tell. But we do the best we can, right? I love vanilla flavoring that has, you can see the vanilla beans in it. I love that. Making a cake from scratch is a lot like making biscuits or other things that um, we don't normally do. You know, we normally just go ahead and buy the box mix and make it that way. And that's perfectly fine. But I do think, however, that it's a good skill to have so that, you know, if things went bad, we hope they never do, but if they do, then you would have this skill. You could make a cake. That's why I buy a lot of cookbooks. I buy a lot of books on herbalism and different things like that because I want that book in my hand in case something were to happen and the internet is not available to me. Now, like I said, we'll go back and we'll put more on there, but we're going to get some on the top first. We're not looking for perfection here. We're just looking for a nice looking cake because we're just making this, you know, just for our family to eat. And I mean, you want it to be beautiful for them as well. But if I were like making this for, let's say, a shower or something, some kind of event, or I would take a lot more pains with it. But or if I was making this for my dad's birthday cake, I would have taken great pains with it. That's so pretty. I hope the cake tastes as good as the icing does. All right. Just a little bit more in here. And I'm going to put it right on the top and just smooth it out and we'll be done with the cake. And then gently, we're just going to pull these out. And that's going to give us a nice clean edge around the bottom. You could go along the bottom and pipe little shells or something like that, but I'm not going to do that today. Isn't that pretty? Oh, look how gorgeous. All right, let's get our top put on it. And pray the icing don't touch the top. Okay, I've got my pan hot here. I'm going to put my squash and onions in here. Now, had my mama been cooking this, she would have used the big iron skillet, but I'm using that in the oven, so we'll just have to keep a close eye on this and keep it flipped and turned and until everything is cooked down. So I think my bacon is pretty close to being ready to go into a Ziploc bag here. That will be nice. I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator for right now. And probably tomorrow after we eat breakfast and lunch and whatever, we'll put it in the freezer. All right, so when I make mashed potatoes, I like to put butter, and cream cheese. I'm not making a lot, so I'm not going to put a lot. And of course, some salt. My mom's green beans back there. Okay, the rolls are out of the oven, and I'm going to put some butter on top of them. The meatloaf likes just a little bit. We've got the squash cooked and the green beans warmed up, the cake cooked. We've done a lot today. See how good they look? Isn't that wonderful? Well, all right, we're ready to eat. Look at this. Isn't this wonderful? Oh, looks so good. Fried squash, green beans, meatloaf. Look at me a little bit of these potatoes over here. Green onion out of the garden. Let's taste this and see how it tastes. We know this is going to be good. Mmm. So good. Let's try these green beans. Mmm. Right back to my mama's kitchen, y'all. Golly. That is so good. Mmm. Everything is so good. I think my daddy would be proud to have had a meal like this on his birthday. I hope so. I'll show you a picture when at the end of the video you can see the cake when it's being cut. Nana loves you. Nana is so, so proud of you. And remember, you always have a friend here. I'll see you on the next one.